Hey, sports card fans, it's John, Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. I want to first wish everyone a happy new year. I hope that 2024 brings you joy and happiness within the hobby and this sports card community, and that I hope you pick up some amazing cards throughout the year. All right, since this is my first video for 2024, I thought I would do a hobby and channel goals video for the year. What these videos have done, this is at least my second, if not third, such video that I've done. And if you've been watching my channel over the last couple months, you know I've sort of been in a little funk as to what cards I want to go after and pick up to add to my collection. And what I've been able to do is over the holiday break here is really step back and take a look at and think about what cards are the most important for me that I want to add to my collection, whether it's because I like the player, like the particular card. And actually, by just taking a step back, taking a bit of a breather, I've been able to focus and identify a few players and cards that I want to go after in 2024. Now, will I hit all of these goals? No, but at least it'll help me focus. And because there's so many cards out there that I could go after. I'm not one that just randomly goes after cards. Now, are there some cards that I'm going to be inspired through either watching other YouTube videos or just seeing cards or thinking about a card that I had forgotten about and maybe go off on a little tangent? Absolutely, and that's fine. I'm not going to keep myself just to this list of players and cards and narrowly focus my collection for the year. It's all going to come down to budget, timing, going to some of the shows, different things like that to see which cards I will actually pick up. At last year's National, I picked up a few cards that really weren't on my radar, but I happened to find them and I couldn't pass up the deal. They were great cards. And so I'm going to allow myself to deviate a little bit from the goals I set in this video. But with that, I'm going to sort of switch things around here and talk about some of the goals I have for 2024. Okay, let's get right to it. We're going to start off with the hobby goals, the card collecting goals that I have for 2024. So I identified 4 players that I would like to work on player runs. Most likely, I'm not going to complete all 4 player runs. The 4th one I threw in as sort of, I'm almost positive I'm not going to complete this player run. But again, even if I can pick up just a couple more cards, I'd be happy with that. So the first player is Thurman Munson. Obviously, he does not have a whole lot of cards in his player run, and I may have half of them already. I have his rookie card. I have the 71, which are the 2 biggest ones. And so I think completing the Thurman Munson Topps run should be easily, doable for the year. The next player run that I would like to at least work on, Jim Palmer. Again, I have his rookie card. Beyond that, though, his late 60s and early 70s cards I'm missing for the most part. And then, of course, the ones after 1980. So I do have a decent number, but I don't think they would necessarily break the bank. Again, depending on the condition of the cards, especially in the late 60s and early 70s that I would go after. But I think that one, the Jim Palmer run, may also be attainable for the year. The third player I'd like to work on the player run is Frank Robinson. I have his rookie card, so that's out of the way. But there are a couple other expensive cards, especially in the late 50s to early 60s. But Frank Robinson, I think, is underappreciated in the hobby. So somewhat affordable cards for the most part. I think he has some cards in the high number series for some sets, so those could get a little pricier. But I just love his 59 tops, his 64 tops. Those 2 come to mind. So looking forward to adding more Frank Robinson cards to my collection. Again, not sure if I'll be able to complete the entire run, but we'll see. And the last player, now that I have his rookie card, Harmon Killebrew. Just, I don't know, another underappreciated player in the hobby. So I don't think his cards are going to be too expensive, again, depending on the grade that I get them at. So that's another player that I would like to work on a player run. All right, the next area that I want to focus on are just other cards of players, just random, not necessarily focusing on a player run, but there are a few cards of these players that I would like to pick up over the year, and that's Pete Rose cards. I just love Pete Rose cards, but they, as opposed to some of the other ones that I'm focusing on the player runs, these players here for the other cards, they're the more expensive ones in these vintage sets. So I'm going to have to, buy one here and there as my budget allows. Definitely not to the extent of getting anywhere close to a player run. But Pete Rose is one. The other player is Johnny Bench. Now, I have a decent number of his cards. Don't have his rookie card. So that one, would prevent me, again, from completing a player run. But maybe picking up a bench card here and there. Another player that I'd like to pick up at least maybe a couple cards of, Ernie Banks. Just love Ernie Banks cards. I picked up a few, I think maybe it was the end of 2022, my first Ernie Banks cards. And so just some of his cards are just beautiful cards. And so I maybe hopefully pick up a couple maybe. Next player, Warren Spahn. I've done pretty well with his 40s and 50s cards. There are some that I'm missing, of course. And it just seems that, man, some of the Warren Spahn cards, even into the 60s and I don't know, they seem to be pretty expensive. So again, maybe picking up one or two here and there. And the last player is Yogi Berra. I think it was maybe last year, early part of last year, I picked up maybe one or two of his cards. I like Yogi Berra, like his cards. So maybe again, for these players here that I listed, if I pick up 1-2 cards, that's fine. Again, nothing really seriously toward a player run. All right, some more hobby goals here. My 100 cards for $100,000 list. I currently stand at 45 out of the 100. And my goal for 2024 is to add 5 more. Now you say, well, John, what? 5 more? That's not a whole lot. But if you consider that the 55 that are left are starting to get into more and more expensive cards. I think the cheapest card now that I'm looking to pick up is probably at a minimum $200, and it just goes up from there. So to add 5 more, given those price points, I think is a fair target to shoot for, but we'll see. I did very well at last year's National, added 9, I think it was, to my list. So we'll see what the National brings or other opportunities, but at least 5 and I'd be happy. Would get me to halfway on the list. I'm also thinking of creating another 100 cards but this time $10,000. So basically those 100 cards would average about $100. Now there'll be some that I'm going to pick that would maybe be in the $60, $75, $80 range, and there'll some that'll maybe be $125, $150. We'll see, depending on the grade. But these are some cards, and it could be, some of those Johnny Bench cards, Yogi Berra cards, Ernie Banks cards that I might find. I'm probably going to have those types of cards. Maybe some later years Willie Mays, again, depending on the condition. Things like that, I'm going to put into this new 100 cards for $10,000. A little bit more reasonable priced cards and players. And so again, it's going to give me broader focus, I guess. Maybe not too narrow, but it gives me the ability to still work on a project, but still pick up a lot of different types of cards. So I think that'll help me as the year goes on to maintain some focus, because there's still going to be with my 100 cards for $100,000, the player runs, and this new 100 cards for $10,000. Right there's 100 cards that I could go after. So it gives me the ability to pick from a wide range, but not too wide of everything out there. So we'll see how that goes. Next, add X number more PSA graded vintage cards to my collection. The reason why I don't have a number there, last year I put a total of adding 75 new PSA vintage baseball cards to my collection. Honestly, the number is not important, whether it's 20, 30, 40, more. As long as I'm enjoying the hobby, as long as I'm picking up cool cards, I don't really care how many more I pick up throughout the year. So basically just expand my PSA graded vintage baseball card collection for the year, which obviously I will meet because I'm going to be picking up some cards, but basically just enjoy the hobby, enjoy my collection, and enjoy picking up some cards. Next, for my 1978 top set that I'm building, I'm hoping to add, I don't think I'm going to be able to complete it this year, and I'll explain why, but my total here is to add 50 more. I'm currently at 620 out of the 726 in the set for about 85%. So if I add 50 more, I'll get to 670 and about 92% completion. I'm still missing a decent number of common cards. There are some Star and Hall of Fame players that I need. Those I may be able to find and pick up on eBay. The others are probably going to be at the Strongsville and National shows where I can see the cards in person, and they may have binders of commons. I'm just finding it really difficult. I've done periodic searches for commons, and some just can't go by the listing, and not all of them have pretty good pictures. Again, for the 78 top set, I'm looking for well-centered cards, sharp corners. If they were be sent in for grading, at a minimum 7, if not 8, that they would grade at, that type of condition and eye appeal. So I'm being very picky. So to shoot for 50, I think is maybe even be a little bit of a stretch, depending on where I can find some of the 78s. All right, a few more hobby-related or collection-related goals here. Complete sets. I'm probably going to be picking up the 2024 Topps base set, do that Walmart thing where I pick up 2 sets and keep one, open one, see if I get a parallel set. I'll probably do that again. But if possible, I like to fill in some gaps that I have in some of the older, and when I say older, I'm missing some in the 90s and early 2000s, some complete sets there, or maybe even pick up some early Fleer or Donruss sets that I don't have. Those don't seem to be that expensive. And again, I'm not looking for perfect, mint or near mint condition sets. I would like, some of the stars to be decent centered, but I'm not going to be too particular about some of the older sets that I pick up in terms of the overall condition. So we'll see if I pick up 1 or 2 here and there. Now here's a big goal that I've decided that I finally made a decision on all my BVG graded vintage baseball cards. I have decided. I've been back and forth, and I've gotten some great advice and thoughts about this. I am going to switch them over to PSA slabs, and I'm not going to sell them and try to buy replacements in the PSA. I like the cards that I have, and I just want them in a PSA slab, so they go along with all the rest of my collection. But that's not going to be cheap. At last year's National, JT, Triple Crown 24, and I sat down. He was a big help. We went through some of my BVG graded cards, and he estimated what it would cost to send them in ungraded. So I'd have to crack them out of the slabs, send them in ungraded to PSA. And I think the total we came up with was probably at least $900. So I don't have $900 just sitting around to send into PSA tomorrow. So what I've decided to do is start a crossover fund. So every paycheck I'm going to put a little bit, because it takes that away from my regular hobby budget, but I'm going to set aside just a little bit of money every paycheck and start building up a fund. I don't know if I'm going to wait until I have everything saved up and send in all the cards at once. What I may decide to do is, once I have a certain amount saved up, then send in 4 or 5 cards. And I may start off just dabbling with cracking open slabs and so on, with some of the lesser value cards that I have, but ones that I still want to get crossed over, and sort of test the waters there, go through the process, see how long it takes the cards to get back and all that stuff. And then as I save up more money, maybe do another group of cards and so on. But the way I'm going to be saving money throughout the year is I'm probably not going to have enough saved up in 2024 to get everything graded. So this is a year plus project. It would definitely, I'm almost certain it's going to go into 2025 until I can get everything crossed over. But that's the decision I've come to, and because I just want those cards in a PSA slab. All right, now for the channel and community goals. All right, this first one here, I want to make new friends within the hobby, make some stronger connections and friendships with those of you out there in the hobby community. Despite the fact that I have this YouTube channel and do a good number of videos, I'm really an introvert. It takes a lot for me to engage and start like a conversation, or to reach out to someone and say, hey, how are things going, and so on. So that's one of the things I want to work on in 2024, is to sort of break out of my shell, so to speak, and start to develop some more deeper friendships with some of you out there. So bear with me if I'm, try to make an attempt to reach out and things like that. It's hard for me. I don't have many close friends, a lot of acquaintances and casual friends. And I know that's a lot on me, because I don't often take the initiative to reach out. And so I want to try to do that more in 2024. Also, I want to build my contact information for YouTubers out there, fellow members of the cardmunity. So this is sort of an ask from you to me, is that if you think I don't have your email address, mailing address, cell phone, I understand some of you don't want to give that information out, and that's fine. But feel free, don't be shy to shoot me an email. My email address, wadebogsfan@gmail.com. It's also in my About page on my YouTube channel. Shoot me an email, say, hey, John, here's my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. Dawn's Field of Dreams Cards and I have this 2 guys, 1 hobby. We're always looking for guests, and it would also be helpful if I had your email address, cell phone, or maybe, hey, the best way to contact me is through my Instagram account, so I can find you on Instagram and I can DM you through Instagram. Whatever you are comfortable with, please feel free to reach out to me and provide me your contact information. I'd love to build a really big database of contacts out there of fellow YouTubers. All right, more collaborations. I talked about the 2 guys, 1 hobby shows that Dawn and I do. I plan on, as long as Dawn will join me, in continuing those shows throughout 2024. But, if I can think of any other collaborations that I can have people on my channel, I'm not sure whether it be some monthly thing. I'm not sure, but as the year goes on, I'm going to look for opportunities to bring some other YouTubers, invite them on to my channel to do something. And I'm going to leave the door open again. If you are looking for a guest or want to have me on your channel, I would be more than happy to do so and help support, promote your channel. So if you're looking for a guest and my collecting background fits, please feel free to reach out to me. And I will, if you send me your contact information as we share things like that, I'll give you my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me at any time. Again, would love to do more collaboration within the hobby in 2024. All right, attend the National and Strongsville shows. Those are on my calendar. I don't have the hotel or tickets purchased for Strongsville. I don't think that's too much of an issue in getting a hotel room way in advance, but I am going to Strongsville. I believe it's in April. Really looking forward to that. It's all vintage, so that's right down my alley. And I have my hotel booked. I have my VIP tickets bought for the National in Cleveland. Again, really excited to be able to go to that this year. It's going to be really fun, and I mainly go to meet fellow YouTubers, obviously, and to hope to maybe pick up some cool cards, but just the experience and the camaraderie is what I'm going to be looking forward to. As I mentioned in my recap video for 2023, one of the goals I have had, and one of the goals that I'm going to continue into 2024, is to reply to all the comments that you leave on my videos. My general philosophy is if you are taking the time to leave a comment on my video, I should take the time to reply. Even if it's a thank you, I want you to know that I read it and I appreciate the comment and I'm thanking you for it. If it leads to a further discussion, which some comments have, that's great. Obviously, as my channel grows, and I get more comments on videos, it may take me a little while to reply to everyone. I know at least in the second half of 2023, there were times that I did fall behind, but I did catch up and I did reply to everyone, and I will continue to do that. I'm going to make that a promise. And the other thing is, I also have mentioned in the past that every single video of yours that I watch, I always give a thumbs up. Well, I want to take it a step further. Again, getting back to that, breaking out of my shell a little bit, is I want to go beyond just liking, because you don't know that it was me liking your video. I want to try to leave more comments, even if it's just a one sentence thing. Again, just so you know that I watched your video, that I really liked your video, appreciated it, loved the content, and so on. So I'm not going to be able to do it for every video, but more and more I want to add and give comments on your videos, not just a thumbs up. All right, almost done here. All right, in terms of video content, I've really been enjoying the top 10 most valuable cards. I started with 1980. I'm all the way back to 1963. I want to continue that series. Now, once I get to 1948, which if I calculated correct, I've been doing those once a week, may take me into May. Once I get to like 48 Bowman and the Leaf, I'm not sure if I'm going to take it further back or just end the series. I'm not sure. I have still some time to decide, but even from my perspective, and regardless of the values and stuff, it just doing the research just gets me more familiar with some of these vintage sets and some of the nuances of them beyond just the cards. So I've really enjoyed putting those videos together. And of course, my monthly top 10 eBay sales. Again, I just enjoy seeing what people pay for some of these cards, people with a lot more deeper pockets than I do in this hobby. But it's always like interesting to see for me what the trends are with some of these sales on some of these high-end vintage cards out there. So I plan on continuing doing those series of videos as well. And maybe some other recurring themed videos, whether they be maybe not weekly, maybe some monthly videos. I am working on the Vintage 100 Index. I've been working on adding a lot of data. I've created a few more indexes. So hopefully if Mike, Baseball Collector, is willing to still join with me, periodic updates on the Vintage 100 Index. It's not going to be a monthly thing, maybe quarterly, maybe just 3 times a year, something like that. But maybe depending on the theme, the topic that I come up with, I may be doing some other maybe monthly recurring type videos. I always like to have them as the type of videos that I put out. The most important goal out of collecting the hobby, anything that I have for myself for 2024, is to have fun collecting and enjoy the hobby. That's what it is. It's a hobby. It's meant to be enjoyed. I'm going to try to stay away from drama, getting frustrated, to my best of my ability. Just have fun collecting little pieces of cardboard that cost, in some cases, a lot of money. But just enjoy this hobby, and of course, enjoy and build on the connections and relationships and friendships out there in the community, and just have a great 2024 and really enjoy myself. That is the main goal that I'm going to have for myself for 2024. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed the look at my goals for 2024. Would love to know in the comments what you think about my goals. Are they too ambitious? Possibly. But again, I think it leaves me a lot of options there in terms of what cards I go after in 2024. And do you have any other thoughts, comments? Again, would love to hear what you think about the goals I had set for me for this year. And with that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.